What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, and this is continuing along the road to WrestleMania. This is Road Signs. This is your Raw review for January 13th, 2014. How are you guys doing? You do get to see my pretty sexy face this week, which means I am alone. First and foremost, I want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to James and to Kara, who joined me for my Raw review last week. Hopefully those guys will be able to join me again soon. Wanted to fly solo tonight. Wanted to give another quick shout out to the Wrestling Realm, which is the new Facebook group that I'm a part of / starting up on Facebook when the Breakers pretty much, died on its ass. All the people that you've seen me collaborate before with are there. I think Kara's there, James is there, I think Deluxe Man is there, I don't know, I think NJ is there, I don't know, I know the British Fist group channel as a whole is over there, but, excuse me guys, it is, it's Monday, which means it's Raw, and it means I should stop rambling. It's a good Raw, and I mean, when I say it's a good Raw, I mean there's stuff that I loved, and there's stuff that I hated, and there was nothing on this show that was to me. There was nothing here that was in the middle. I either despised it, and I will get to that, or I loved it, which means even if it's not going the way I want it to go, it's still getting a reaction from me. It's not, Heath Slater versus Santino Marella with a sock on a pole match that nobody gives a shit about. We started off with the only match we really knew about going into this show, which was Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan versus the Usos. We know the story about this. We know what happened last week. Daniel Bryan and Luke Harper didn't get along. It cost them the match against the Usos, and I believe it was Rey Mysterio. Somebody will correct me down in the box below if I'm wrong. I'm sure of it. But Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan versus the Usos. Bryan, taking on that whole Wyatt family persona, I guess you could say, continued to... I'm going to trip over my words tonight, guys, because I'm kind of tired, and I'm going to say that right now. I should have said that right off the bat. But Daniel Bryan has that sort of Wyatt, brutal, he's in his little jumpsuit, whatever. And he kind of, when he gets angry and when he gets really still and really slow, he's kind of got like a Michael Myers thing going on. And I don't mean classic Michael Myers, Halloween from like, I don't know, 30 years ago. I mean the Rob Zombie reimagined Halloween 2, where he wasn't always wearing the mask, and he did occasionally have a bunch of, Daniel Bryan-esque scruff. I saw it. Maybe I'm the only one. If you think I'm crazy, tell me down in the box below. Bray Wyatt, toys with the Usos. My favorite spot in this, and it's not a huge over-the-top spot, but when Bray Wyatt takes one of the Usos and does sort of that body avalanche, super stinger splash type of situation in the corner, you just expect them to come out of the corner again looking like an unrolled toothpaste tube, don't you? Like, there's gonna be nothing left. The Usos, because they're the faces, and, obviously because they're related to The Rock in some way, shape, or form, they do get the upper hand at one point, at which point Harper and Rowan do join in, and there is a 4-on-2 beatdown, which leads to a disqualification, and the losing ways continue for the Wyatts. Now, in this beatdown, they do manage to get one shot in before they run away, that they being the Usos. Their one shot is on Daniel Bryan, and I don't like that, and I don't like that for a couple of reasons. I don't like the fact that Daniel Bryan, who's the hottest thing in the company right now, some would say, I would still say CM Punk, but, it is what it is. Daniel Bryan, who's this big top-of-the-thing guy, is part of a team that on a 4-on-2 advantage. Not only do they get the comeuppance at the end from two guys that are mid-carders at best, Bryan is personally the one that takes the shot, and he gets punished by his, leader after the match with, Bray Wyatt whispering in Daniel Bryan's ear. Daniel Bryan takes sort of that, sacrificial arms up in the air pose and eats the Sister Abigail willingly, which is, strange. And obviously, yes, if anybody that saw Raw tonight, that that's going to change by the end of the night. But right at this particular point, it doesn't make Daniel Bryan or the Wyatts as a whole look very good, does it? I'm not sure if I like that. On the other hand, I do like the Usos. I do think the Usos are overdue for a push. I don't think that without the push, and without the push that they haven't had so far, that they've built up enough to believably have the moment that they had tonight. Does that make sense? I want them to get a push. I want them to have moments like this, but I want them to be pushed up so that when they have moments like this, they make sense and they feel deserved and they feel right. I don't know. I'm going to pause for, again, guys, because I'm tired and distractible and whatever. My camera, like my little screen on my camera, looks like things are really, really dark. Am I coming through really, really dark here? Because to myself, I kind of look like a silhouette. I'm going to keep going, and I'm just going to look like a talking silhouette head if that is the case, because even if that is the case, I don't know how to fix it. I'm not a technician, just saying. Next up, we continue the monstrous burial of Damien Sandow. Do we not? We replay Damien Sandow being only the second man to ever cash in the Money in the Bank and lose. They try to backtrack and make it so that Damien Sandow's recent losing streak is because he's had a breakdown since losing to John Cena. It's kind of trying to make up a story after the fact, but I guess better late than never. Damien Sandow versus John Cena. And I figured that this would all be a setup for, you know, Randy Orton to run in, or Damien Sandow wouldn't get anything in, or it would be a squash. But it's not a squash. I mean, it's John Cena, so it's going to be a squash. But it's an extended squash. And by that I mean Damien Sandow pulled a really good match out of his ass, and it just didn't mean anything again. Damien Sandow owns Cena at the beginning of the match, for a good portion of the beginning of the match, stomping him, beating him down. Cena spends a lot of time on his back, but doesn't... Just because he's on his back doesn't mean he's selling the offense very well, because you can almost see that he's got a smirk on his face while he's, you know, faux selling the thing. But it's John Cena. He pops up when the time is right. 5 moves of doom. Sandow counters the AA into a, what's that sort of falling reverse electric chair thing that Edge used to do, basically where he grabs him by the back of the head and pulls him straight down into puts himself into a sitting position and puts the opponent down on his back. Yeah, whatever the hell that is, he does that out of an AA, which is cool. And, you know, to a layperson, to somebody who's watching wrestling for the first time, they might believe that that was a near fall. He also counters the STF, which is kind of cool. He puts on what one of the commentators refers to as the Royal Arch submission, which I've never seen before, and if I have, I've forgotten. It kind of looks like a sideways execution of the Edgecution, which is kind of cool. Made me mark a little bit. Sandow's expanding his repertoire while going up against, you know, the face of the company, who has a very limited repertoire. So the mirror image of that made me chuckle just a little bit. Cena gets out of this and hits the world's worst tornado DDT. I mean, it's one thing to watch Cena try to chain wrestle every now and then. It's one thing to watch him do the Cena can't Rana. But this tornado DDT... abortion. Just saying. Anyways, we have the STF, which Sandow gets out of because he's in the ropes, and then locks on, for the second markout moment of this match, the crippler fucking crossface. So if he's pulling Canadian submission moves out of his ass, he's making me a happy boy. Cena, in the crippler crossface, who, you know, when it was used properly by, you know, somebody like Chris Benoit, took down everybody. John Cena, crippler crossface on him, stands the fuck up, AA. Fuck off, Cena. Just saying. Cena gets his bullshit win, whatever. We get a replay of last week's announcement about the WWE Network, and let me say, guys, here and now, I'm a huge wrestling fan. I always have been. I always will be. WWE leeches a lot of my money, but you could not pay me to give a fuck. The abacus is not big enough to count the fucks I do not give about the almost 2 years late WWE Network. Just saying. We see Kane and Brad Maddox in the back. Maddox makes a match saying that Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan are going to face the Usos again, but it's going to be in a cage. Kane says, I can do you one better. They're going to be in a cage. The cage is going to be chained shut, and I'm going to have the key. Mwahahaha. Kane trying to, you know, get himself into the main event scene, taking lessons from Triple H, I'm sure some people will say. Big Show versus Jax. Oh. And again, I can't... Guys, go back in my videos about a year. If I were to tell you last year that right now, today, January 13th, 2014, I would be going on an angry rant defending Jack Swagger, I would have laughed at you. But I am. This was garbage on its face. Big Show versus Jack Swagger. We replay the video package of Show manhandling Lesnar last week. We push their match for the pay-per-view. Fantastic. I don't want to see it. It's going to be... This match is going to be entertaining in the car crash realm. It's going to be, let's see what these big guys can do. Let's see if they can manage to keep my attention. Let's see if it's not as slow as frozen molasses running down a tree in January. But we showed this replay. Lesnar's not there. Paul Heyman doesn't even interfere in this match. Big Show smokes Swagger. Is there any surprise? Antonio Cesaro runs away, and Zeb Coulter, after a lot of teasing, eventually gets a WMD. Now, why am I mad about this? Am I mad about this because I'm an insane Swagger fan? No. I enjoy tag team wrestling. The Real Americans, although I did not buy them at first, I will admit, have to be considered in the top 3 contenders for the tag team championships, and they're the most impressive in the ring. I was at Survivor Series. I watched the Cesaro swing thing happen twice. Swagger, although I don't like him, is a fantastic technical talent, and we made them and their manager job unnecessarily to make the Big Show relevant. And I understand that they're trying to all of a sudden, they're in the pendulum swing of Big Show's career where he's super relevant, he's a joke, he's super relevant and a monster, and he's a contender for the world title, and he's, you know, Baby New Year walking around in a diaper, you know, knucklehead from a couple of years ago. So they need to swing that pendulum back to him being legitimate and impressive and blah 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 so that he can face Brock Lesnar. But did you have to take out one of your prime teams in the tag team division that is on the rise to do it? Nobody gives a fuck about the Big Show. He's big. To be the Big Show, you have to do 2 things. You have to, I guess you could say you have to do 3 things. You have to wake up, you have to show up, and you have to be big. That's all you have to do to be the Big Show. You don't have to bury legitimate talent. He's going to go in there. Either Brock Lesnar is going to get an ooh and an ah for lifting him up and giving him the F5, or Big Show's going to steamroll him. Those are the only 2 ways that the match at the Royal Rumble can go, and you don't need to build that up. And you don't need to build the Big Show up when Lesnar's not even there to be built up. It's like Rock versus Cena, I hate to say it. All you have to do is tell people at the Royal Rumble, this match is happening. People will care, people will not care. Nothing that happens in the 2 weeks leading up to the Royal Rumble is going to make the people that care more, and it's not going to make the people that don't care, like myself, other than getting a chuckle on what a train wreck it's going to be, it's not going to make them care anymore. This was entirely unnecessary and buried a very good up-and-coming tag team. Very disappointed. And yes, I'm going to keep saying very because it's just that disappointing. I can't say anything else about this. What I can say is that we got a rematch from SmackDown that made me smile. New Age Outlaws and CM Punk versus The Shield. Road Dogg does the intros. It's all good. Outlaws, any reason you can find to put the Outlaws on my screen, I'm always going to love it. I am an Attitude fan. I am an original DX fan. You know, I'm a Hardy Boys fan, so I'm going to love this. You know, it is what it is. It continues the Punk Shield feud, and like I say, it gives us an excuse to have New Age Outlaws on the screen. I love what the commentators did here, because people bitch a lot about, you know, what should be talked about, what should not be talked about, and what they want their commentators to do. Let's be honest. The Shield, right now, is a launching pad for Roman Reigns. Because he's a powerhouse, he's the guy that WWE, he's the look, he's the quintessential superstar in WWE's eyes of the Shield. So they're pushing him, and I like how they did it, because they spent most of this match, which annoys most people, talking about the app, talking about Twitter, going on forever about the network that I do not care about. As soon as Roman Reigns entered the ring, from all 3 commentators in their own respective ways, there was an oh shit just got real. And suddenly they were talking about the match. It's a subconscious thing and it's a little thing, but I like that because it makes Roman Reigns look even more beast than he already is. Roman Reigns also makes me happy when you see CM Punk with his head between the first and the second rope, head facing out of the ring. Reigns is on the floor outside the ring, manages to get a 2-foot drop kick up from the floor to where CM Punk is sitting, square in the side of the head. Nice move for a big guy. You guys know that I'm not really a fan of the big guys on a regular basis. Roman Reigns is the definite exception in 2014. Love it. Love everything about it. After that, you know, the Shield, the Ambrose and Reigns and Rollins, they all work over Punk's head. He's all disoriented, blah, 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 blah. CM Punk sells it magnificently. Of course he does. He's CM fucking Punk. He goes for a tag, and the Outlaws take a walk. Internet, alive. No, it doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that? They're only there part-time, da-da-da-da. It makes perfect sense, guys. Who are the Outlaws part of DX with? Yes, it would be Triple H. Oh, yes. Loved this. Loved every bit of this. Not only that, but, you know, a very, very confused CM Punk gets a 3-on-1 attack for a moment that culminates in a spear by Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns gets another spear, another, you know, great outing, another win on the longest reigning WWE champion in the modern era, CM Punk. And then it's Roman Reigns that calls the Shield back and says, no, we're not done yet. We're going to hit him with the triple bomb, and he's just done. Done. This is, everything's coming up Roman Reigns right now. I personally want Ambrose and Rollins to succeed, but knowing what WWE is trying to do at the moment and seeing why they're doing it, I love everything they're doing with Roman Reigns right now. And everything that they're doing is at CM Punk's expense, but it's done in such a way that he doesn't look bad. You don't look bad when your own partners fuck you over and you lose 3-on-1 against the most dominant 3-man force in the WWE right now. You don't. CM Punk is not going to be hurt by any of this, guys. He's really, really not. He's CM fucking Punk. I'm just putting that out there. But Roman Reigns is beast. Roman Reigns will be in the main event scene in the next 2 years at the very latest. There's my prediction. He's also going to run roughshod in the Rumble. I mean, is there anybody doubting that? Okay, Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family are in the back, and Bray Wyatt is giving a creepy-ass pep talk to Daniel Bryan for their cage match later on tonight. Daniel Bryan says they're going to find a home, they're going to find release, and they're going to find monsters in this match, which I love. Daniel Bryan plays a half-decent psychopath, I'm not going to lie. Funkadactyls versus AJ and Tamina. Tamina owns one of the Funkadactyls. AJ gets tagged in, and she's the more technical half of the team. You know, everybody's calling Tamina Snuka the female Diesel. I guess that makes AJ Lee the Shawn Michaels. That's a gross exaggeration, but the metaphor actually kind of does fit. She has a wicked, what the heck is it called? Full body scissor submission on one of the Funkadactyls. I don't know who it was. Hits a Shining Wizard, and AJ and Tamina get the win. I like this for a couple of reasons. Yes, I'm biased. Yes, I am a big fan of AJ Lee. But also, Tamina Snuka, I'm sorry to all the Natalya fans out there. Like, I get it. She's from the Hart family and all that sort of thing. Tamina Snuka is the most believably dominant diva in the division. And AJ Lee, even though her title reign is being swept under the rug to push all these Total Divas storyline, she's the champion. And when I get to a statistic that somebody brought to my attention a little while later, you see what I mean. She's the champion, and her, you know, bodyguard, for lack of a better term, is the largest, most dominant looking diva in the division. Of course they should win against the Funkadactyls. Oh, fuck yes. Just saying. In the back, we see Orton searching for the Authority. It's da-da-da-da-da. He's angry. He's going to give them a piece of his mind. Whatever. After the break, we see him confront Kane because the Authority isn't actually there. Orton vents his frustrations to Kane about the Authority. He's got Cena on his tail. He's got Lesnar after that, and Batista's about to come back, and they should be protecting him because he is their champion, da-da-da-da. Kane says, here, I can't do anything about any of that, but I can let you take out your frustrations on Kofi Kingston tonight. And at this point, I'm a happy kid. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, for anything else, for anything that has happened so far that I didn't like, for anything that happens after this that I don't like, at least I will get to see Randy Orton put Kofi Kingston in his place. At this point, I think that. Oh, yes. See the face? See? Yeah, it's coming. We get the announcement of the first inductee. Sorry, guys, my chair's doing a funny thing. Not that you care. I'm not going to ramble on about my chair. The first inductee into the 2014 Hall of Fame made everybody mark, again, the internet, alive. The Ultimate Warrior is going to be the, I guess, the head of the class for the 2014 class of the WWE Hall of Fame. No problem with that whatsoever. I'm not going to get into it. It's fucking the Ultimate Warrior. It is what it is. See, guys? Do me clipboard. Still here. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Oh, yes. Heyman is in the back with Renee Young getting interviewed. They show the Big Show attacking Brock Lesnar. Again, she asks him some kind of mundane, generic question. He tells her that her beauty is only skin deep, which is a great dig from Paul Heyman, even though it hurts me just a little bit. Renee Young, my hometown girl, is fucking gorgeous. Just putting it out there. Just like he's not impressed with what Renee Young has to say, Brock Lesnar is not impressed that the Big Show beat up an old man tonight. And that's a great point. That is a fantastic point. He beat up 2 mid-carders and a kayfabe, war hero grandfather. He punched somebody in the face that has grandchildren. And he's going up against Brock Lesnar, who has dominated the WWE and the UFC. Just putting it out there. Heyman is gold. He's fucking brilliant. It's brought to my attention, somebody made some kind of message to me. Yes, when I'm doing Raw, when I'm watching Raw, computer's there, TV's over there, iPhone is right here. Just saying, I am that much into the show when I'm watching the show. Somebody brought to my attention that I should check out the statistics on AJ Lee's WWE Divas title run. In 48 hours, AJ Lee will beat Michelle McCool's record, and she will now be the longest reigning WWE Divas champion in history. My girl's making history. Oh, yes. Anyways, Orton versus Kofi Kingston. Oh, my God, this makes me cry. I just... Randy Orton, now that we've unified the titles, the kayfabe top of the company versus WWE's Joseph Park in Kofi Kingston. Orton mauls Kofi Kingston, as he fucking should. Kofi has a little John Cena moment out by the announce desk. I guess he had some Fruity Pebbles this morning. Bounces Randy Orton's head off the desk a couple times. Fine, whatever. Orton goes back to owning him, including a sweet top rope suplex where he makes me laugh. He makes me laugh. Everybody doesn't like, Orton. They're still bitching about 2009 when Orton bitched at Kofi Kingston that he was stupid because he made some kind of mistake. So instead of calling him stupid, he hits them with the most beautiful top rope superplex that I have seen this year. There we go. And says, kick out of that. And it was just so fucking arrogant and beautiful. Obviously, Kofi Kingston does because he needs to be the face in peril hero guy. Orton keeps owning. Orton injures his knee. Kingston gets a small flurry in, hits a bullshit botched SOS out of nowhere and rolls up your WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Go fuck yourself. Just saying. Orton makes me smile a little bit at the end. After Kingston leaves, Orton has a little bit of a meltdown by the announce table and then spots John Cena Sr. in the audience and gives him beats and makes me a happy boy. Oh, fuck yes. We come back from the break and we see John Cena being all mock concerned about his dad because his dad should stop coming to shows. I'm just saying. His dad, every time John Cena Sr., sorry guys, every time John Cena Sr., I'm losing my voice. Every time John Cena Sr. comes to a show, he gets punted, he gets RKO'd, he gets the crap kicked out of him, whatever. Later on in the night, we will hear from the medical facility that he may have a fractured eye orbit. That's a little much for a vague sort of jump over the banister type thing, but whatever. The Rhodes Brothers versus Rybaxel, and Rybaxel is really just, when I say the Real Americans are one of the greatest up-and-coming teams in this newly reborn division, I will say the total opposite of that is Rybaxel, because they are just awkward on their face, are they not? Awkward match. A lot of it is the Rhodes Brothers double-teaming Ryback, which makes sense. He's the bigger guy, he's the powerhouse, whatever. Axel tries... There's nothing really to talk about in the match. The match ends when Axel tries to roll up with the tights. Cody Rhodes gets up. Axel tries for something... Or no, not... Yeah. I don't even care. I barely wrote this down. My writing is so shit, guys. True story. True story. My writing is abysmal. Just... I can't even read my own writing, and it was only written like a half hour ago or so. That's really bad, isn't it? But hey, you guys are here, and you guys seem to like what I do, so deal with the shitty writing and deal with the fact that I can't read my own writing. Axel tries a roll-up with the tights. I'm going to try this one more time. That doesn't work. Gets up, tries something else that Cody Rhodes turns into a crossroads, and the Rhodes Brothers get the win. Fine, fair enough. Rhodes Brothers keep their belts. We see another Batista video package. My buddy James loses his shit because he's cool like that. And we move on. James, shout out to you, buddy. Alberto Del Rio versus Rey Mysterio happens. And the internet, alive, we've seen this match before, it's shit. It was actually a pretty damn good match. Great back and forth until Great back and forth between these guys just because I like the way these guys work. I don't like Rey Mysterio, but I like Rey Mysterio versus Alberto Del Rio, so that says something for the match, right? Right. The match changes, like any Alberto Del Rio match changes, when he hits one of my favorite moves. You know, I'm talking a lot about moves tonight. Some people have new moves, some people are trying different moves. One of my favorite moves, and it's not even a finisher, is when Alberto Del Rio does the code breaker to the arm. Because that signifies that we've gone from the first half of the match to the second half of the match. The first half of the match is great back and forth action. The second half of the match is Alberto Del Rio with fucking wicked psychology doing nothing but working on that arm. Works on the arm. Rey Mysterio is in the Tree of Woe, hanging downward with his face towards the turnbuckles. Alberto Del Rio does what I've been calling his sweet chin music, because I really don't know what else to call it, to the back of Rey Mysterio's head while he's hanging upside down. And basically, limp-ass Rey Mysterio falls into a cross-arm breaker, and Alberto Del Rio, as he should, gets the win, gets on the mic, talks more trash about Batista. Obviously, I'm not an idiot, as much as some of you out there think that I am. I know that this is all a setup so that Batista can come back to Raw and beat the crap out of Alberto Del Rio. I get it. I know how wrestling works. I've been watching it long enough. But for now, for tonight, this was a great match. Alberto Del Rio won and Rey Mysterio lost. I'm a happy boy. We have more bullshit about the network that I'm not even going to dignify. Punk is looking for the Authority. He finds Kane because the Authority's not here, and that's just how it's going tonight. Punk is looking for the Authority. Punk is laying out challenges to Triple H. Kane says, I can't help you, but I did just get off the phone with the Authority, and they are giving you an opportunity to main event WrestleMania. And by that over-embellished statement, all he really means is that CM Punk is one of the competitors in the Royal Rumble match, to which I say, well, duh. But CM Punk is in the Royal Rumble match. We have a couple people announced tonight. The Rhodes brothers are in, The Miz is in, Biggie Langston is in, obviously Batista and Alberto Del Rio are in, and apparently Xavier Woods is in, so go Xavier Woods. I like Xavier Woods. He wasn't on the show tonight with R-Truth or anything, but they're good. The Funkadactyls were there with Brodus Clay's music, and what's going on with that? We don't know, but Xavier Woods apparently comes out to Brodus Clay's music. Brodus Clay is apparently trying out his new main event playa gimmick at like house shows and shit. I don't know where that leaves Tensai, probably on Superstars or house shows or something. But basically they've taken the Brodus Clay gimmick, handed it off to Xavier Woods and R-Truth, given them the Funkadactyls, and pretended the whole Funkasaurus thing just didn't happen, which should have happened a long time ago. Should it not? Oh yes, Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan versus the Usos in a cage. Kane comes down, locks up the cage, etc., etc., etc. I'm not going to say a bunch about the match, because the match was... Oh! Because I'm an idiot, I forgot to mention, we have a match set for SmackDown this week. It's going to be the New Age Outlaws versus the Rhodes Brothers. Not a title match, but a match against the Tag Team Champions. So apparently the rule is, if you fuck over somebody that Triple H doesn't like, you get awarded with something that could eventually get you a Tag Team Championship match. Good stuff. The first really good spot in the cage match was a double back suplex from the top rope from the Usos to Bryan. Usos win the match by going over the top, because obviously the door was chained shut. When they go over the top, they both hit cross bodies on Rowan and Harper, who are on the outside, which is impressive enough looking. They sort of, you know, look like the cat that just ate the canary. They leave with their victory. It's all good, and you're like, they're not really going to end Raw with an Uso victory, are they? Are they? No. No, instead, Wyatt goes to hit... Bryan gets back into that, you know, sacrificial position again, and he's about to get the Sister Abigail hit on him again, but he pushes Wyatt off. Wyatt is kind of surprised. Bryan starts, you know... He's not hulking up, but he's, I guess, goading up, getting himself all worked up, getting himself all pissed off. Wyatt, mocking him, he goes down on his knees and does the whole arm thing and says, if you want to do something, do it, you know, you're a coward, blah, 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 blah. Gets up to his feet, and Bryan and Bray start fighting. Bryan and Bray start fighting and brawling around the cage and this and that and the next thing, and Bryan starts losing his shit like he does in really good Daniel Bryan matches. Gets him down to his knees, does this whole series of chops to the chest, and kicks Bray Wyatt's head clean off his shoulders practically. Bryan loses all the, what do you want to say, the Wyatt family garb. He strips off the that janitor's outfit that he was wearing, for lack of a better term. He's got his typical, you know, American Dragon and the red and white boots and everything, and this is the big symbolism that Daniel Bryan is back to normal. Finally hits the running knee on Bray Wyatt, goes to the top of the cage. I think that he's going to do the Benoit headbutt from the top of the cage, but he doesn't. Bray Wyatt's already out. He just stands at the corner of the cage, yesing, and that's how we end the show. Kind of anticlimactic because I thought he was going to do the headbutt, and he didn't. My bigger problem with this is this storyline could have gone on way longer. This whole, like, Daniel Bryan having troubles and tribulations and doubting himself and doubting his character and whatever, and being mistreated by the Wyatts and being under Bray Wyatt's spell and all that sort of thing. They could have drugged this out to WrestleMania. And they could have had a Bray Wyatt-Daniel Bryan match at WrestleMania if they couldn't find anything else for those two guys to do. They ended it in 2 weeks. I know this is part of, you know, ending things sooner, you know, quick fix, quick payoffs, you know, they're aiming at a younger audience that has a shorter attention span, but come on! Okay, other than CM Punk and The Shield, Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan are two of the hottest things happening in the WWE right now. People would have paid attention. I don't care. Kids would have paid attention. This could have drawn out longer and been so much more. This could have spawned off feuds. This could have, you know, gone with another Daniel Bryan CM Punk run of feuds, just with CM Punk trying to remove Daniel Bryan from the Wyatts and trying to snap some sense into him or whatever. They could have done so much with this. Okay, the way the payoff was done, it's clever. Daniel Bryan waited until he had Daniel Bryan waited until he had Bray Wyatt in a cage situation where he could get his revenge one-on-one. He got that revenge one-on-one while the rest of the Wyatt family was helpless on the outside. That played out beautifully. It really, really did. And for a short-term thing, it went fine. But they could have done so much. It was done well, but I'm so disappointed with how much more they could have done with this. Anyways, what do I want to say about Raw? A lot of good things happened. Everything with the Shield and Punk and the New Age Outlaws was great. The tag champs still look okay. Roman Reigns looks like a beast, obviously. The rest of the Shield looks pretty damn good. CM Punk's in the Rumble. Yay, like we didn't know that already. The Authority wasn't there tonight. A lot of like mid to low card crap filler was not on this show tonight, which I appreciated a lot. And we've got a lot of things going in as far as our road to WrestleMania goes. We have two, you know, supposedly big matches set for the Royal Rumble, as well as the Rumble match itself, which by my count has about 10 official people in it. When I get a longer list of everybody who's officially been announced, I'll probably put it into the next Raw review. We have our first inductee into the Hall of Fame as the Ultimate Warrior. No problem with that whatsoever. I got some videos coming up in the next little while. I've got a video about the streak to do. I've got a video about title shots at WrestleMania to do. I may or may not do a Q&A before the Rumble. I will definitely be doing a Q&A before WrestleMania. I might, if I have time, do one before the Rumble. If I do, I will make a video asking for questions in that video. Please don't drop questions for a Q&A down here, because if I do one, I won't be getting them from here. But that's a couple things that I got on the horizon. But what's on the horizon for me right now is I'm going to go the fuck to sleep, guys. I've been your buddy, your pal, Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there. Talk down there. Start a conversation. Keep all of my conversations going. What did you think about Raw? Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, guys, I'm tagging out. Have a good one. Bye.
You're a freak like me.